Good morning. It's a somewhat beautiful fall, almost winter morning here in Langley, British Columbia. I have my steep tea from Tim Hortons every morning. 2 cream, beautiful. This week's vlog, I wanted to talk about something that's come up quite a bit. I just got back from a trip to India and Nepal for both some business work at the beginning in India, meeting with our development partner in a dev shop over there I manage. And I work with on some complex projects quite often, and then we moved over to charity mode in the remaining days of India and Nepal. But something that came up a lot, I've been doing web development and managing these projects and building websites for almost 15 years. It's probably 20 years, but I'd say seriously 15, 10 to 15 is kind of when I worked on it as a career. And one of the things that commonly comes up is difficult web clients. I'm reading an interesting book right now called The Entrepreneurial Leap, and today's chapter this morning was all about there's 2 types of people in the world. One are people who take responsibility, and then the others are people who blame others for everything that goes wrong. Web is an interesting game. Developing websites for clients is an interesting thing. Content always becomes a problem, and I'd say probably 1 out of 10 you can find yourself in a difficult spot. It's just a part of it. I've realized it's what naturally happens. It's not like it's the end of the world or it's something tragic. I mean, people are giving money for a service and they want specific things. I think what needs to be said from the out front, from the gate, is that any service industry, especially web development, is half of the game is psychology and dealing with people and making sure that you're nurturing the process and helping a business or a person accomplish their objective. So I don't think that there's difficult web clients. I don't think people can be difficult in their nature, but they're only difficult dealing with you and maybe your system. Now, I'm not saying that, we've optimized processes and systems. I've been optimizing processes and systems to handle web content and web development for a lot of years. And that might not always work. Those systems could be optimized for 9 out of 10 people. And for those 9 out of 10 people, it's going to work great. But that one person, it's going to push back against that system because it pushes them out of their comfort zone or something happens. But I think what's important to always keep in mind, and my recommendation to anyone who works on web projects, as well as how I talk to my team here, is that they're just people. They've paid for a service. They want to accomplish an objective, and that's their goal. And yes, things can be said throughout processes, and sometimes especially when you're trying to get content from a client to wrap up a site, it can be painful sometimes. At the heart of it, as long as what you're doing is purposeful and you want to actually help them, and that's the web model I've created, and the purpose of any project or anything I get involved in is, yes, there's money to be made, that's the truth, but they're purposeful. I'm able to work on something and help someone get their thing to the next step, and that's kind of the purpose there. And on the other side, as the client, they need something that's better than what they have, or they need something they don't have, and that's the truth. And you have to help them get there, and it can be difficult throughout the process. But blaming your clients for your problems is just going to deteriorate your team and create a toxic development environment. But it's just not going to help anybody. It's better to stay positive. And you can have those tough moments, and you can be like, damn, I wish this person was easier to deal with. But the reality is it's, they just want to get it to where they want it to be. And sometimes where they want it to be is not feasible, and that's just the truth, and you have to be transparent. But it's important in the industry that we know that we move away from the blame game. But, blaming clients for your problems is not going to help you achieve any sort of success or help anyone meet their objectives. That's it for today. Boom.